Hey gang, welcome to another edition of Doc Schlock by request, where it's a review of the movie After School Massacre. And this one comes to us from fellow YouTuber Christopher Harris. This one is about a high school girl, right, named Jess, in which her and her friend Devon, I think, they have a little crush on their teacher named Ty. Aww. In fact, it's so much of a crush that they ask him to accept their friend request on Facebook, which, as you would guess, goes really, really wrong. They accuse him of sending them inappropriate messages and stuff like that. So Ty winds up getting fired. But he's not going to take that nonsense. So he winds up getting back at his principal, boss, I guess you could say, and the secretary by taking them out of this movie. Lucky them. So then he overhears that Jess and some of her friends are going to have a slumber party. Starting to get a feeling I've seen this movie before. So they plan their little slumber party, and of course, a couple of guys try to crash the party and everything like that. Yeah, I've seen this one. And of course, Ty decides that, you know what, I'm just gonna do what I can, because, well, you can't call this movie After School Massacre without a little massacre happening in it. So Ty starts taking everybody out left and right until it's down to just him and Jess and Luke, who is apparently the boyfriend of a friend of Jess's. And I believe at one point, Ty, with his mask on, ties up Jess, then without his mask on, unties her, then reveals himself to her as the killer. So Luke tries to go in to save the day, but unfortunately he's overpowered by Ty, and he's taken out. And Ty winds up leaving his mask and his weapon with Luke as he slowly fades away from life. And the movie pretty much ends with Jess getting hit by a car, but she's okay. This movie stars nobody. So, why did this movie suck? It's really one of those movies that I first heard about it through Bloodbath and Beyond. And it seems like this movie is sort of like a very low-budget version of Slumber Party Massacre, and I guess the Prom Night remake in some ways. I mean, if this movie wanted to kind of be sort of like Slumber Party Massacre 4, then I'm sure they would have been, whoever made the movies would have been fine with it. Because this is pretty much all it really is. I mean, whereas the first Slumber Party Massacre movie was supposed to be sort of a parody and supposed to be intentionally funny, even though it was pretty doggone good. This movie seemed like it was just an excuse to be stupid. I mean, how none of them recognized who the killer was is beyond me. Of course, that's just bad writing. And it just made me want to just smack myself silly into thinking, so they're just gonna let the killer get away with this. Seriously. Okay. But this is a pretty bad one. I mean, there are some massacre movies out there that are actually pretty decent, but this one I would definitely give a pass on. And as far as I know, there is no sequel. Which, that ending, you kind of think, you know, well, there might be. And so far I haven't seen anything about a sequel, but yeah. And the thing that really gets to me is that they always try to turn these mild-mannered people into unstoppable killers. And some of the ways that Ty that is and some of the ways Ty takes everybody out in this movie, some of the things he uses, it just made me roll my eyes. But there you guys have it, a review of After School Massacre, whatever you want to call it. It's a stupid movie, it's bad. Special thanks to Christopher Harris for his request, and if you've seen this one, love to hear from you guys in the comments below. And if you like my videos, please feel free to subscribe. If you've got a horror, sci-fi horror, comedy horror, or fantasy horror movie that, well, you watch it after school and you wish you just not even bothered and just went straight to your homework instead, send it my way and I'll get on it ASAP. Thank you guys so very, very much for watching, and until next time, as always, stay strong and rock on.